Good morning, everyone.
They were, that's true.
Call the Development Committee meeting of November 18th to order. May we have a roll call, please?
Member Krajewski? Member Martinez?
Here.
Member Covert?
Here.
Member Ozog?
Here.
Vice Chair Yu?
Here.
Chair Tornatori?
Here. We have a forum. I have Chairman's remarks this morning. Any public comment? We have one person, David Savinock, is here to comment on item 6B. David, is that you?
That's me. Yep.
Do you have anything you wish to say, sir? You have 3 minutes if you'd like to give us any
Yeah,
information.
the comments. So my name's David Savnock. I live on unincorporated Wheaton here, not too far from here by Lincoln Marsh. And I got a violation a few months back for a basketball hoop in my driveway. This is a basketball hoop that was there when I bought the house. It's in concrete, and there's several of them on our street. There's dozens of them in our neighborhood. There's hundreds of them in DuPage County. For some reason, I got a violation for it. The violation was waived when I went to that hearing, but I was advised to come and send an application for zoning so that I guess it would be allowed. I'm not sure. So I did that. I sent the application, and my previous hearing, they recommended to deny, I guess because it was in concrete. I'm not sure why, but it's for a basketball hoop. It's not an RV or any kind of vehicle. And I'm not sure why I have to go through this process for this. I talked to Paul in the beginning, and he told me this was the first time he had ever had to deal with something like this too. So I'm a little confused, but going through the process and hoping that, hopefully we can get it approved so that my kids can just play in a basketball. They use it all the time. They play on teams, and it's fairly normal, it seems like, to have a basketball hoop. So.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, we'll move on to minutes. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of
Second.
October 7th. Any
motion.
So moved.
motion is second? Any additions, corrections, or deletions? Hearing none, seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed, motion carries. We on to item 6A. I'll entertain a motion to approve DCO 49-25 zoning
So moved.
59 to approve a recreational vehicle vintage Airstream RV in front of the front wall. So the zoning hearing officer's recommendation tonight is a motion to approve. Is there a second?
There was a
There
vote.
was a second and a second. Okay.
No, she moved.
Yeah, there was a
Yeah.
motion, no
I
second.
need a second.
Second.
Okay. Motion second. Paul's on the phone. Did you want to give us anything on this one other than it's pretty?
If you like, if you have any questions. I
Would
can-
see anybody have any questions on this? Okay. Start with Vice Chair Yu.
Yeah, so, this, I was taking a look at the property, and it does look like it's very narrow on one side, and then the other issue is that there's a sewer line on the other, and so they can't really, I mean, they're arguing that they can't move the Airstream RV
Sure.
further into the backyard. It also, I noticed that the RV is parked right in front of the house, and the driveway is pretty long, so I don't even know if you can see it from the street. So, I mean, is it really just because they didn't argue the right points? They didn't have an attorney, and that's why?
Not necessarily. The argument was that, exactly how you discussed it, that there's no ability to get it behind the front wall of the house. And it was also that, she doesn't believe it's impacting anybody. There was a complaint about it, at the public hearing. No one showed up to complain about it, but there was a complaint about it. And our code doesn't allow for RVs to be parked in front of the front wall. In addition, the petitioner did testify that this RV is dormant. She doesn't use it. She bought it because she likes RVs and she wants to rehab this. So it's just really sitting there. A lot of times RVs are a little bit itinerant. They move in the summertime. This is just sitting there and just parked there on a regular basis until she can find some resources to fix it.
Yes.
I had this, I was gonna say the same thing as, remember you, but, it just seems like, I mean, it seems like there's gonna be a hardship if she moves it, though. I mean, there's nowhere for her, either she'll have to junk it or move it somewhere where she would have to purchase parking space or storage. And that would create more financial hardship on this resident's part. And I'm just not a big fan. I mean, it's not bothering anybody. I didn't see any objections in the packet that we received today. Neighbors are not complaining, so I don't really see a huge problem with the RV. It can't be located anywhere else, and I don't, with current financial times right now, I just don't want to put more of a burden on this person, on this resident. So, I guess I'm not understanding what the huge.
Can you speak up a little bit? I can hardly hear you.
Yes, I'm just not understanding what the big deal is.
So to be clear, this was, not to go too deep of a dive here, but we have 2 code enforcement officers for the entire county. Most of our code enforcement complaints come in from objections from anonymous tips. This was a violation notice that we got from anonymous tip. So someone called in and complained about it. So that's why we went out there. Irrespective of that, at the public hearing, for which we did send out notice to property owners within 300 feet, we didn't have any objections from any of the property owners. It was an anonymous tip, but for whatever reason, whoever complained, who may have received notice, didn't show up at the public hearing. And the whole rationale for us having recreational vehicles behind the front wall of the house is that recreational vehicles do tend to sit for long periods of time. They are much larger than the typical passenger vehicle, so they do create a bit of a blind spot for adjacent property owners. But once again, we have a complaint, but at the same time, for the public hearing, no one showed up to complain. We do have the village of Glen Ellen that did indicate that they too have a code that requires that recreational vehicles be behind the front wall of the house. We know that we've got recreational vehicles in front of the front walls of houses throughout the county. And we usually only react when someone calls and complains about it.
Okay, and then one more question. How long has this vehicle been parked in front of the house?
Was there any testimony at public hearing, Ashley, you recall? I think it's been there for at least a year. I don't think longer than a year.
Okay, I'm Rosa.
I'm not in favor of granting a variance here. My sister owns an RV and is in a much more congested or populated area, but it's an expectation that if you own an RV, you're gonna have to store it. And they're generally, if they're lucky, they get to keep it there overnight while they're transitioning, unpacking it, what have you. But I think that's generally an expectation, and I think it's a bad precedent to, again, we know this situation does exist, and we can't stop everywhere and change everybody who's doing this, but you could have situation where you have, wildlife could be living in it. It could be an attraction for, it just doesn't seem like something that if we have the choice, it should be left there. And there was a complaint, obviously. So these rules are here for a reason. And if you could park it on a side lot, that's different than having it exposed right in the front yard of the neighborhood. So I'm in favor of going on with of not granting. So I don't think the hardship is there because there are other things.
Well, you guys are pointing at each other, so it doesn't matter. Somebody go first. Go ahead, you're closest.
So what is the reason? Why don't we allow it in the front?
So recreational vehicles generally are stationary for long periods of time. Passenger vehicles are supposed to be parked inside the garage. We know most people don't park them inside the garage, they're on the driveway. Passenger vehicles move on a daily basis. Recreational vehicles usually come to the property and are parked and stored there until such time as you go and use them, either on the weekend or in the summertime or for extended periods of time. But for the most part, they're just being stored on the property. We don't have a problem with them being stored on the property, but we want them to be behind the front wall of the house, because if they're in front of the front wall of the house, they're effectively a stationary object that in some instances is much larger than even a detached building, and sometimes even higher than a detached building. And it creates a bit of a blight, creates a bit of an eyesore for adjacent property owners. It creates a line of sight issue for adjacent property owners, for them trying to come in and out of their driveways as well. The other thing that the zoning hearing officer found that sort of exacerbated the situation is that this particular RV is not operable. It's purchased because this person has an affinity for this type of particular RV. It's an Airstream. It's an antique, and the person has it on their property to eventually fix it up. And so it's not even moving at all. It doesn't even have that itinerant movement even on a monthly basis, even a yearly basis. It's just being stored there.
Member Garcia.
Yeah, and that was my question. What is the code on abandoned vehicles?
So code on abandoned vehicles, there's state statute and then there's our own statute, and abandoned vehicle has to be operable. Well, I shouldn't say abandoned. A vehicle that's parked on the property, a residential property, has to be a passenger vehicle under 10,001 pounds gross vehicle weight rating. Or it can be a recreational vehicle, but it has to be operable. Tires have to be blown up on it, has to move, has to operate, has to have license and tags on it. This has none of
None of
those.
that, okay. That's what I wanted.
Anybody else?
And just one quick question, does it have wheels or? you
It does.
said It
It
does.
does have tires, yeah.
It just doesn't,
Yeah, it doesn't move you.
and she's not planning to move it?
She's working on it. It's a hobby for her because she likes this particular type of RV. She likes the look and style of it.
Anyone else? Okay, I'd be voting no on this as well for a couple of reasons. Our code is very specific about not having recreational vehicles in front of the house. I don't know that we've ever granted the opportunity for that to happen. As Paul said, there's line of sight issues, to your point, Melissa. They can be an eyesore. Where I used to live was not an unincorporated area. My neighbor, who I love dearly, got a bigger and bigger RV, it seemed like every other year, and they were allowed to keep it for 3 days at a time,
Yeah, that's.
but it just got 5 days, 7 days, 9 days. And it just doesn't look good. And the fact that this is in a state of disrepair and isn't even being used, to me, is the kicker. As far as financial issues, you know what? If you got the money to buy an Airstream and you want to fix it, then find a place to do it. I mean, you just can't do it on your driveway to the expense of your neighbors. So I don't see that as an issue, but I will be voting no for what it's worth. Okay, any other questions, comments? We have a motion to approve. So if you are in favor of it, obviously it'd be to overturn the zoning hearing officers, your vote would be yes. If you want to sustain the zoning hearing officer's recommendation to deny, your vote would be no. So roll call, please.
Member Ozark,
No,
member Covert,
No.
member Martinez,
No.
Vice Chair you,
No.
Chair Tornatori.
No, and the motion fails. Moving on to item 6B, I'll entertain a motion to approve DCO 50-25 zoning 2560. Savinock to approve zoning relief for recreational apparatus, otherwise known as a basketball hoop, in front of a house in District 4. Is there a motion?
so moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. I think this is pretty, I don't think we need to even ask Paul. It's a basketball hoop in somebody's driveway.
It's a permanent basketball hoop in driveway in front of the front wall of the house.
Okay.
said it's permitted?
It's a permanent one. I mean, it's.
Oh,
concrete.
It's in concrete.
That's what I'm.
Sir, I'm sorry, you're not entitled to say anything, but I'm glad you're here. Go ahead. You.
Thank you, Chair. This was as a result of some anonymous tip also, I'm guessing.
So there was multiple violations on this property for some other code infractions. And we've worked with the property owner on those other code infractions, but when the inspector was out there, he's obligated to look at the property for any other violations. And this basketball hoop is considered a recreational piece of equipment. Recreational equipment is only permitted behind the front wall of the house. And this is a permitted recreational piece of equipment in front of the front wall of the house. So he's obligated to issue the violation notice. We had this property owner in our adjudication. We non-suited the basketball hoop so that the petitioner could apply for zoning relief, which is why we're here today.
Right, and we're here today so that there's not another violation notice to be issued and another adjudication hearing. Try to figure it out, deal with it once and for all. Remember my case.
How long has it been there? Do we know?
I don't know if you'd like, we could open it up and ask the petitioner that, Mr. Chairman.
I think you said it was there since they bought it in 2021.
Oh.
Been there for a while.
Built in
Go ahead, Member Colbert.
So I saw in the packet, thank you, Chair. I saw in the packet that this house was built in 2017 with that basketball hoop in place. And then in 2021, the residents moved in 2021. And they did not get, I just want to know why they didn't get a violation notice in 2021 when they moved in. Why wasn't there a violation notice when the house was built in 2017? And why is he getting a notice now in 2025?
So when the house was built, the basketball hoop was not part of the permit for the house.
Okay.
It was just simply a house permit. The county approved the house permit. The basketball hoop was built simultaneously with the building and construction of the house, but it was not as part of the permit that the county reviewed and approved for the house.
Okay,
Just so everybody understands, these come before us either because of complaints or people are doing something else on the property, building a deck, a pool or whatever, come to get a permit and then we find out, oh, by the way, you didn't get a permit for a shed or whatever. And that kind of triggers the whole thing. So that's how we get here generally.
And that's correct. As I mentioned, we were on the property for another violation. And because we're on the property for another violation, the county staff is obligated to take a look at the entire property, see if there's any other violations on the property. And this technically is a violation. Basketball or a recreational piece of equipment, basketball hoop in front of the front wall of the house. So it's obligated to issue the violation notice. And this process here is a means by which the petitioner can get out from underneath the violation notice if the board deems that it's there's something that is acceptable, to be able to get a variation for.
Gross.
Was there any comment from neighbors, et cetera, that?
There is concern about the noise that is generated from playing basketball in the front yard.
Anyone else?
just one more question. If there's questions, if there's concerns about noise from this basketball hoop, there's other basketball hoops that could be there that are movable basketball hoops. So would the complaint be they can't play basketball at all on their driveway?
It's a bit of a slippery slope for sure. We are acutely aware that there are portable basketball hoops, and if we get a complaint, for instance, about a portable basketball hoop, we'll issue a violation notice, and the person can abate the violation by just simply moving it in the backyard or putting it in the garage and get rid of the violation. The issue here is that this is permanent, and there's no way to move it in and out. The issues with playing basketball in your front yard can generate a noise complaint. We've put a decibel level reader on this property, and the activity that occurs in the front yard with the basketball playing doesn't trigger a noise violation. So there is no noise violation here, even though that is the complaint from the neighbor who got the notice saying she's entitled to weigh, or they are entitled to weigh in on this variation request. Didn't particularly have an issue with the basketball hoop itself, just the noise that it generated from playing.
Okay, so, and I actually have experience with this because we're rebuilding a retaining wall, and when the contractors pulled everything down, there's this column of cement. We had it actually just sawed off, but where my husband had poured a cement foundation, and I don't know, it's not done yet, so I don't know how the contractor is going to deal with this. So I'm very well versed with what it takes to get rid of something like this. And it seems to me that if petitioner is forced to take this down, and the foundation is probably 2 feet or something like that, they take it down and then they go buy a portable hoop, and the kids are still playing basketball, making the exact same noise. So it seems really counterproductive. I can be in favor of this variance because it really just seems very counterproductive. And I would hope that in a neighborhood, neighbors would be respectful and that the basketball isn't being played at 3 o'clock in the morning, et cetera. So I just don't see why we would make them take this down, because it's a real pain in the neck, is my experience. So.
Here you.
Thank you. Quick question, how long are these variations for? I forget. Before,
Variations are with the land.
So,
Yeah, okay.
Stays on.
Okay.
title.
got it. Thank you.
I think just if I would, and I apologize, I didn't hear the petitioner, but one of the things that was discussed at public hearing is that relative to the noise, this basketball hoop, this permanent basketball hoop, is on sort of the instep of the property, meaning you've got property lines, the driveway, front yard. The basketball hoop is on the property owner's front yard side as opposed to on the property line.
Side part.
In addition, there's no lighting on this as well. And once again, it's a technical violation, but the outlet for any property owners to seek the variation. So those are some things that were brought up. I don't know if the petitioner brought that up or that you're aware of those, so mitigating circumstances potential.
Any other questions? The fact that there was no lighting would indicate to me that it's less likely that they're gonna be playing late at night. So that would help the noise issue
Are they playing with the house lights?
as well. I played in the dark many times when I was younger, but, as to member Ozark's point, make them rip this up and they go get a portable hoop, the noise is gonna be the same, if not more. All for kids playing basketball in their front yard. I mean, honestly, and I would hope the reason that the petitioner's here, this is a violation. It is what it is. The reason that Mr. Semenuk is here is to avoid having to go back into adjudication. And that's what the nature of a variation is. So, I would be in favor of granting the variation for a lot of reasons and hope that the kids would respect the neighbors. Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve this. Any other questions? Do we need a roll call on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Any old business? Any new business? Great, without objection, we adjourn. See you, happy Thanksgiving, but we'll see you next week.